Hello, everyone, and welcome to another bass singer reaction. What's up, everybody? Welcome, as I just said, in melodic form. Welcome to another bass singer reaction. Today marks the day where I deviate from only doing a cappella or I did one classical piece you would have heard already. It's time to branch out a little bit further. I've gotten so many suggestions outside of the a cappella world. I figured it was time to spread my wings and fly into some other genres and provide feedback there and provide analysis there. So here we are. And guys, if you like what I'm doing, as always, please like and subscribe. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. And if you really like what I'm doing, consider donating to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month to support me as I continue pursuing my career as a performing artist, in addition to, of course, being on YouTube and such. Today we have Disturbed's version of The Sound of Silence. I will never forget the moment when I first heard this. I was sitting in my bed, a senior in undergrad at James Madison University, and I'm pretty sure my uncle sent it to me out of nowhere. And I listened to it and I was like in tears and hyped and like obsessed immediately. This must have been back in like 2015. So I really have not heard it in a long time. I kind of burned out on it because I listened to it so much early on. But, you know, I've done a cover of this. I've already done Pentatonics' version of this song. I will likely do Tommy P's version because I think he does an excellent job as well. It's an iconic piece. It's been done tons and tons of times. This is probably my favorite version of it. This is it's truly amazing in every way. So let's break it down. I'm of course going to talk about David Draiman's singing and any other musical or music video elements that come out that strike my interest that I want to touch on. So let's go ahead and dive in, guys. Thank you for being along with me on this journey, and thank you for following me into genres beyond a cappella. So let's go ahead and dive in. It's been a long time since I've heard this, and it's been a very long time since I've seen the music video. Years upon years at this point. Let's do it.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its scenes while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence.
Man, it's just chilling. I think it's so fantastic that it starts with just piano. As I've talked about in plenty of a cappella pieces, what this does is if you have just piano and then just one voice in piano, it adds so much room for contrast. You start at this very small, intimate space, like the singer's like right in your ear. And then from there you can go as big as you want to go. You can go from one voice and piano to 100 voices in full orchestra and full wind section and full whatever, you know. The limits are boundless, basically, if you give yourself a good starting point. If you come out of the gate guns blazing, you can only kind of pull back. You don't have as far to go, and that contrast allows for more of a storytelling kind of situation. You can fit a bigger story with more dynamics and more contrast within the space of just a few minutes. So it's a wonderful way to start this piece. David's voice is, of course, amazing and unique. People talk about his range a lot as being super impressive. I mean, his range is good. I mean, he's barely getting down to these F sharps. Hello. He's not, he's not a bass. He's really, I would say more of a tenor with a low extension. I mean, that is low, but I've heard him do it live, and live those low notes are even weaker, sometimes not even there. But David, his upper range like blows my mind. There's not only when he gets, and we'll see this later, he can sing up really high. Not only can he do it easily, but he can also do it with this amazing like metal belt that has a ton of grit in it. I don't know how to do that, and I don't think my voice will let me. It's you have to induce turbulence to the vocal folds so they're not phonating properly, so to speak. But you can do it, with good breath support, and you can do it in a safe enough way to where it's sustainable, like he's clearly learned. But for me, it's not the range for him that does it. It's just the control in his upper register and the ability to sing both really softly, like a pianissimo up there, way up high, and to be able to really let it rip and do that rock belt. So that's super cool. Obviously, we're not seeing that in this first verse. We're seeing a very intimate David Draymond in the very low parts of his voice. I'm going to try and take this song verse by verse, just music video things, which you guys saw. It's all these destroyed instruments. It's very black and white. And I just feel like they nailed it, kind of painting the picture of like, okay, sound of silence, all these broken instruments that can no longer play music. They've got a guitar coming out of the dirt. It's wonderful imagery, and it is storytelling in a great way, in addition to this amazing intimate intro we get with just piano and David Draymond's voice. Now, let's go on to verse 2.
In restless dreams I walked alone.
And we hear that guitar right there.
Narrow streets of cobblestone. Neath the halo of a street lamp, I turn my collar to the cold and damp.
Some strings.
When my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light,
Cellos.
the night and touch the sound of silence.
So that's verse 2. David is still in the low octave. In restless dreams I walked alone. So he's 2 octaves down low, then he goes up the octave. It was cool, right after they showed that guitar coming out of the dirt in the first verse, they put that guitar into the instrumentation. There was also, I believe, some violin for sure some cello, and then there's a more expansive piano part. So there was a lot of like contra notes, like super low stuff coming in, and a little more movement in the piano part as well. Something else that was happening vocally too. Of course, there's effects on this stuff. I mean, he can sing like it pretty much sounds the same live. But of course, effects always add some. There's an effect here. It's called an echoing effect. It's very subtle. I don't know if I could hear it without these studio headphones, but he'll sing, and then it'll almost sound like there's whispers of his voice happening in the left and right ear a little bit after he sings each word. So it's kind of an echo effect, which adds space and adds atmosphere to a solo voice, which when you record voice raw in the studio, I mean, ideally it's totally dead. That's the best studio space, so you can manipulate that sound. There's no reverb, there's obviously no compression, there's no artifacts of sound boosting a frequency here or there. Very raw, dead, boring sound is what you want. But then you can add the reverb and you can boost certain parts of the vocal frequency spectrum. And you can kind of shape it how you want, but you want a really raw sound. So that's just an audio engineering effect, that echoing effect that it's almost subconscious. It's so subtle here, but it makes you feel like there's more happening than just one voice, because your ears are picking up those subtleties, even if you're not even thinking about it. Great audio engineering, of course, for this band, always. All right, let's go on to verse 3, where David Draymond is going to take his voice up an octave, start getting into the more metal stuff that we're used to hearing from him. And we'll see what other instrumentation comes in. I don't remember.
And in the naked light I saw 1,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking. People hearing without listening. People writing songs that voices never share. And no one dare disturb the sound of silence.
Oh my god, there's so much. There's too much. There are too many great things happening to break everything down. A few things I want to flag. So there is more instrumentation. There's more kind of soaring strings. They're more sustained, like a there's a crescendi and decrescendi. There's swelling. There's more sustain in the instruments. So it's becoming more of a wall of sound than it is like a little violin phrase here and a cello phrase here. It's becoming just a bigger sound entirely. David's voice, this is what I was talking about. He gets up in that high range. He gets up to a high A4, very high note in chest voice, and just threads the needle on it. You know, just makes it sound so easy and so reliable. Like he's not pushing at all. That's very difficult. It's like walking a tightrope when you get up that high in chest voice. It's such that right there, and then what he does coming is what impresses me so much about his voice. Increased instrumentation, just some cool imagery. I would love to break down the poetry of this song, but that's something you guys should all just go read and think about on your own while listening to all these different versions, Pentatonics, Tommy P, Disturbed, of course the original, and just read that poetry and listen, and you're gonna be like, it's gonna be like fireworks going off in your brain. You're gonna be like, wow, I never thought about it like that. Just seeing the words on page makes a difference. And of course, we're our final image here is someone. Now it's not just instruments like sound that they've taken out of the grave, basically, that they've resurrected. Now it's sheet music. It is the physical form of music that we know as sheet music. Now, of course, there's many kinds of this nowadays with production software like MIDI. You can look at MIDI data, but this is like the tried and true notes, standard notation on sheet music. Now they're pulling that out of the dirt, and let's see what happens in verse 4. It's going to be big. It's going to be awesome.
Fool said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows.
Before we go on, there was one other thing I wanted to mention. It's the motion, especially that we hear in the guitar part. It's like chung, chung, that came in the third verse, and we did not hear that in the first two verses. So that's adding motion, that's adding drive, that's building towards the climax of this piece. And as you could hear right out of the gate of this verse is David leaning more into that rock, that metal singing. So he's putting more power, he's introducing more grit into the voice. And remember how he started it, hello darkness, just like very, like way low in his range, breathy, soft, intimate, like a whisper in your ear. And now it's getting that grit behind it. And he's really bringing forth to create that intensity in this piece. Let's start this verse over again.
Fool said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you. Take my arms that I might reach you. But my words
So you've got all these ghostly people coming across from a far riverbank, all holding this sheet music now. You've got a guy hammering away on timpani as the percussion joins in this guitar motion, keeping the song moving forward. David, starting on the high A. I love that. I think it's a great way to just slightly change the melody, but to keep it interesting, because there is the same melody. It's strophic in that way. The words change, but there's the same melody throughout the verse. So he's doing two things. He's doing one, he sings the first two down the octave, then jumps up, so that's a change. And now he's introducing slightly different melodies within the same harmonic structure to, again, create a little variance. And of course, if you start coming out with a belt on that high A instead of starting at the bottom of the phrase and working your way up, it's intense right off the bat. It's intense from the first word of that line. So that's what he's doing there. And I just can't get over how good his voice sounds up there in that metal belt zone. It is just perfect. I mean, there's a reason he's had so much success with this incredible band. A truly unique voice, and it's just wonderful. So we've got percussion added, voice getting more gritty, metally, heavy drums coming in with the timpani, bigger string movements altogether, just like more instrumentation. It's just more, and we're building towards the climax right now. And David Draymond goes full on metal grit. Let's rock. Let's rock this fifth verse.
And the people bowing to the neon god they made. And the sign flashed out its warning, and the words that it was forming. And the sign said the words on the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, and whispered in the sound of silence.
Chills, full body chills, even after hearing it as many times as I have. Fantastic. So yeah, that fifth verse, full on metal belting, doing what he does best. And what I love is he actually maintains vibrato, like some semblance of like pretty solid vibrato while he's doing this crazy heavy metal belt. So that's pretty amazing. That's not something I've heard very often. Another way he showcases his talent. Beyond that, the song just builds more and more. There are more strings, more piano. You get this guitar virtuosic phrase coming down and back up. Kind of amazing that's just good audio engineering. You can still clearly hear a solo guitar amidst like a full orchestra's worth of sound coming in. Of course, we are. Let me back up a bit. Yes, so now all these ghost-like people from the other side of the shore. Where is that? I like that. There we go. They've all these instruments are no longer broken. They're now holding the instruments. So presumably they have all the instruments. They have the sheet music. There's going to be no more silence. There's now going to be music coming back. It's a beautiful thing. It's really interesting that I don't know, that seems to me like a positive message, like bringing this music video is like bringing music back into the world, breathing it back to life. And yet it's filmed in this like horror movie kind of ghostly ghost barge kind of situation. It's very Hoist the Colors by Voice Play vibes right here. We got the barge with the ghostly people for those who've been watching my channel. It's fantastic, guys. It's truly, I would say, my favorite version of this piece. It was such a, the Simon and Garfunkel version was such a classic for so long. And then Disturbed came out with this 6-7 years ago and just kind of blew everyone's mind. I mean, there's a reason it has almost 800 million views. That is crazy. Crazy. And it deserves every single one of them. I hope you guys liked my breakdown for this song. There's going to be many more I'm going to be venturing outside the acapella world with. So suggestions, please send them my way. And it's not that I'm not going to be doing acapella. I'm totally still going to be commenting and analyzing acapella music. I absolutely love it, and there's more great stuff coming out all the time, and I still have yet to get to hundreds of suggestions that you guys have made. So, but this is one I wanted to do pretty much right off the gate because it's one of my favorites. It's absolutely brilliant. Shouts to David Draymond and Disturbed. And we'll see which version of Sound of Silence I do next, because there's a number out there that all deserve the attention. Fantastic piece with a bunch of really good renditions. So guys, thank you. Please like and subscribe. Please join my Patreon to hang out with me and get all the stuff, early access, get behind the scenes footage, and stuff like that. So guys, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks for joining me on this, and I will see you next time. Bye.